Thursday or Friday. Um, Today I had a conversation with Danell Boggs, and it's recorded on my YouTube channel. Of course. The other lady that I have an appointment with is Esther Brandeen. Now here's the problem, none of these people are looking at evidence. I even took some in there. You know, it would be easier if I had another phone. If these people understood how many things I have backlogged to do and I'm stuck in public doing it. Do you know how inappropriate it is to force somebody to have to do this in public? So right now I'm burning daylight. I gotta try to wait to get Jared's number, and I gotta hope that he'll take a little bit of time to understand the gravity of the situation. God, my hair's getting long. Look at that big old devil horn looking. There's another one right there. Some pretty long hairs. Anyway, I'm stuck in an extremely unsafe situation. It doesn't have to be specifically developmentally disabled. Any disabled person can and will be discredited, of course. Our disabilities must not exist. We should magically be able to do things that are not possible despite our disabilities, or we will be punished, and are. Not often are, or probably could be, but we absolutely are. I gotta hopefully not wait on Jared in vain. The thing with me having to go public, these folks didn't understand the gravity of the situation nor the importance of it. And they demonstrated why it is that at-risk and disabled adults are so easy to victimize. Because as much as you might be a nice person, that person needs you to pay attention at least enough to understand the risk that they have. The fact that something can get out of hand very quick and people's lives become very much at risk at that point. And that the victims are going to have a response to that. They're going to respond to the abuse. They're going to be responsive to feeling trapped or being trapped. And when people have real quick ideas that are magically going to fix it all, no, you're going to give me a temporary bandage that's going to fuck me in the long run. If I go somewhere else, you say, oh, we can't do anything. You know what? I can't do anything anywhere, because no matter where I go, all of these services that are get sick of being called by me and pretend like I'm some sort of a monster for calling them. It should have been obvious to all present, especially given their history and backgrounds. Danell Boggs should have known well enough to make the call today, instead of digging for reasons not to, or excuses not to. I don't want to bring my computer in and unpack it all. I might have to hang out the door pretty much immediately. I'm always afraid of going out in public. Some of you have seen that stuff on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Where there's women that will literally freak out at you for telling them that they dropped their purse. For trying to tell them to drop their purse. Apparently saying, excuse me, ma'am, from 30 feet away is scary. Apparently that's intimidating. You're never supposed to talk to a woman or approach a woman in a parking lot. No, if she drops her purse, you can yell at her from fucking 30 feet away. Excuse me, ma'am, you dropped your purse. But if you don't get that far, because as soon as you say, excuse me, ma'am, she's already starting to play like you're a horrible beast. Oh, fine, leave your purse. If she's going to scream at you like that, here's my recommendation. If you say, excuse me, ma'am, with the intent of letting a woman know that she's dropped her purse, and she has a response where she's screaming and hooting and hollering and shouting and playing victim like you're a horrible monster who's trying to do horrible things to her, well, just wait for her to leave, go get the purse, grab whatever's in it, and keep it. It's yours. Is that what I'd do? No. Let's say I'm at a Walmart and some crazy lady is freaking out like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait for her to leave. I'm going to grab her purse. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to walk inside of Walmart to the customer service desk. I'm going to hand it to them, and I'm going to say, hey, some crazy lady outside was just freaking out. I tried to tell her she dropped her purse, but she just flipped her wig. But here's the purse. If she comes back and says she lost her purse, here it is. And you know, that's one of the things here at Fred Meyer's, for example. You know, I do have to walk through the parking lot in order to get somewhere. And I often find people's various doodads and knickknacks, and I do what's supposed to be done with them. I turn it into the business. And since I record everything, you get to see that and hear that as well. A lot of y'all also have this guilt by association thing that you push on us. Oh, well, you should have better friends. You should get better friends. That's not helping. Telling us what we should have done is not helping. And there's an awful lot of people who want to claim that they're helping that absolutely have not. They just made assumptions. God, that is so cool. If only I could stand up on one of these. I always sucked on a skateboard. God, I would sport that as an adult if I could stand on it. And it's only $11.07. My God. Beautiful. Anyway, I get that I'm a little bit I'm a lot strange. People have a lot of assumptions, and they hit those assumptions, and they run with those assumptions. And regardless of what you say, that assumption is what they're running with. For a lot of these people that I got to go to, I'm not just dealing with them. I'm dealing with the fact that it is a small town, small department, small hospital, and when something happens, everybody knows everybody. The ambulance people know the police people know the sheriff's people. That'll probably keep happening. We recorded, what was it, yesterday and the day before I had to deal with this. And of course, with the situation with the cops and the way that they treat it with literally every crime that's committed against me, they force me to do it in a way that I'm not capable. I need assistance with doing that. I don't have a place that is safe to sit down with a computer and do that. When people tell me, oh, well, you just need to rent a hotel room. If I didn't pay any of my bills and I took the entirety of the money that I have for my disability, and if I did something highly illegal by cashing out all of my food stamp money, I would have enough to rent the cheapest motel room here for almost a week. That's the thing about going pretty much anywhere. Everything is getting more expensive. Disability money does not cover it. And then clerical errors and mistakes made by others result in me getting screwed financially, physically, and of course in a court of law. For them to be allowed to omit information, to omit evidence, and to physically and psychologically torture me is not okay. You know, the cops wanted to try to pretend I was some horrible monster who committed horrible crimes against people, and that just simply wasn't the case. Them assuming that I was guilty and that they were going to be on the news as these some great, wonderful, good guys. Well, they didn't end up that way, did they? Did Waylon Lolatai get the "You're a Hero" treatment? Well, only for a couple of weeks. Then he started assaulting more people. He got a big head about it, and he got, well, more rampant about it. The same thing happens when you teach your kid that crap on the playground. When your daughter comes up and says, "That boy hit me," or your son comes up and says, "That girl hit me," and you say, "Oh, well, that just means they like you." No, that's not the right response. That child hit your child. The proper response is to go let that child's parent know. And hopefully they discipline their child in a way that is appropriate, yet lets them know that it is not an acceptable thing to do. It also teaches your son or daughter who is hit that it is okay to go to somebody for help. When you are being harmed, there is an adult that you can go to, a trusted adult that you can go to that will help. Not ones that are going to make every excuse not to. They can't, they're not allowed because of this and because of that. And family's supposed to do that, family's supposed to do that. And most of these services were created because there are people who don't have families for that. And the people who are getting the services are the ones who do have a family to go in with them to see that supposedly to see the right thing is done. But the most disabled people are all out here on the streets. Unless, of course, they're quadriplegic. We've even got some of those out on the streets, just so you know. All right, so I'm just trying to burn some daylight. Ooh, Rubik's Cube. Yeah. So, that lady, Danell Boggs, I didn't get the feeling she was trying to be deceptive about literally everything. It's the fact without her actually looking, how's she to know? And she probably does end up with a lot of quack jobs in her office. But that's where friends and family are supposed to come in. They're supposed to know you well enough to help explain what's going on. When you're being victimized by people and you're not heard because of the mentally ill tag, but the people who victimized you are being heard because they have badges, nobody's going to look at the evidence. They're just going to listen to the badges. Got to respect the badge. No, the hell I don't. That's a damn myth. Boba Fett's Starship Microfighter, 85 pieces. Very cool. Too bad they're not on sale. I might actually invest in that one. It's like a 40% off sale. Of course, they're Legos. They're never going to do that. Well, that made me lightheaded. Boba Fett's Starship. It used to be called Slave One. I don't know why they renamed it. Probably be politically correct, because Boba Fett's a good guy now, apparently. No, he's not. Oh, hello. Hello, Tiger. Oh, very cool. Which one of these looks most like me? Agent Locke? He kind of looks like me, doesn't he? Or I can go with... This one is called The Weapon. That one kind of looks like me. What do you think? Does that look like me? No, of course they don't. But it's still cute. They're $2.79 on sale. Although if I'm gonna waste money on something, it should probably not be food, and that way it's on my food stamp card, and that way I can conserve cash for bare essentials, which that's another issue that I had. Didn't have an address I could use for getting all that stuff and having a steady address, because the people that I was sent to that are supposed to help with that, the most important part that we're ignoring. I got yes. About the lorry. And then they got the child. And one of the characters they have here. They have a Boba Fett. No. Alright. Anyway, the other lady is Miss Esther. On the front cover of this video. She's in the videos from last week. So is the officer. I really need an advocate to be there and present when I start telling the officer what's up, and they need to be there to advocate. That means knowing that it is wrong for the officer to speak up and not listen to me, but how can they do that when they're doing it themselves? There's the training that they're given, or supposed to be given, my apologies, versus their on-the-job training. That's kind of like rookie officers. There's a training that they get that teaches them how to be a good officer, or supposedly a good officer. And then there's their on-the-job training with the tricks of the trade. They're used to harm innocent people quite often. I gotta make sure that I walk even though it hurts, because if I don't, and everything gets all stiff and I can't move.
You want Chelsea to do
I reported the guy and told him that he was on fire.
That lady was talking about recording the guy just now. I'm not sure if you heard that. It might have been muffled out with a lot of the other sounds. I noticed that in public, a lot of the stuff I say is drowned out by the surrounding area, the Indian environment. Depending on whether or not Jared's here, if you are not, that'll be the deciding factor on if I break out my computer and sit down and work on it. But let's try, sir. Go ahead. Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir. When you're forced to turn in officers that broke the law, They should not be allowed to take you to a nut house and have you injected with drugs. Extra creamy whipped heavy cream. $8.99. Oh my god. Private selection. That is stuff too. Huh. That's really expensive. You'll get like some protein shakes, those always help.
That was wow. And then you
For me, one thing that I always have to worry about is that, alright, so there's two sides to every excuse, isn't there? Either you want me to look you in the eyes when you're talking to me, or I'm a horrible person for noticing that you exist. Okay. So no matter what I do, it's wrong. All the people that I'm told that I need to go to, I go to. They don't do the things that I'm sent to them for, so why am I being sent to them? Why am I going to these people for advocacy when they don't advocate? Why is it that I'm having to be a go-between? See, that thing that Deputy Sean Holloway 1 video, he talks about how they thought that Megan Misgatis was supposed to be a go-between. This was literally months after this whole thing started, with Sean Holloway alone. And it still is ongoing. I'm still having to pay the piper for the repercussions of other people's stupidity, ignorance, and laziness. And I told Scott Costa's deputies they picked the wrong department. Hopefully they follow the law and follow the rules, and nobody will get hurt. But that didn't work, and as a result, innocent people got hurt. Myself being one of them, again. Now, how many of these people did I go out and assault? How many people's lives did I threaten? 2, actually. And I admitted to those. One of them was Ted Vollinger, and one of them was Donald Trump. And yes, I admitted to both of those. I also had good reason, and it should not have been necessary. With all of the threats, harassment, and intimidation I had to endure while being forced into a situation where I did not have the resources, the money, the physical ability, or the mental ability to actually sit down and process the evidence. I had to go from homeless to having a computer. Then, of course, I'd let my computer be used by the cops so they could actually look on there to see what Natalie had actually said to people with me, see the evidence that was on there, because I couldn't take screenshots at that point in time and actually show it to them. I didn't know how. I still didn't know how. After over a year of trying to learn how to take screenshots on my telephone, I didn't know how. I tried following the instructions, but it just turned out the phones that I had were real finicky about that. Also, one of my phones sent me to a pictures file, apparently somewhere on my phone that I just never found. Everything that I have is too full to really function. Excuse me, sir. Do you know where the insurer is? The insurer?
Aisle 22, I believe. 21, I believe 22.
Thanks, sir. Go down. Alright, well, I was in the wrong section anyway.
No, like
Oh, yes, makes sense now. Digestive health. There's a lot of people who were aware of what was going on. I was able to show that I told the truth about that. There's also sorry about that. There's also the stuff that embarrasses people that they didn't want the whole world to know. Oh, I didn't want to tell the whole world. When I called them up to try to get help, same as per usual. You know how it goes. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I've got a family. I've got a life. Oh, Sean, I didn't know that was happening to you. Have you talked to the cops? Actually, yes, I have many times. They don't have any singles here. All right, I'm not getting a strawberry. Sure, plus vanilla. That'll work. I love you so much. You guys don't understand how we're treated at the hospitals, how we're treated by police, and I try to show you. I try to show you how we're treated by the services that are supposed to help us. Services that you send us to and say they're supposed to help us. And you also get to see how we're thrown off every single time. We're told that these people have to come in and make a report themselves. At least it's not their job to go investigate it. Well, then the people that I'm supposed to go to, a lot of them are like, well, the thing is that like, the police have to come to us. You got to sign this release. Well, I'll sign that release. Can you explain this to the cops? No, we can't do that. You have to go do that yourself. Well, I can't do that myself. I'm criminal. So what next? The crime is committed against me, cut me off my resources that were required to do what it is that I'm supposed to do as a disabled man who's compelled. I'm sure it's good emergency food. Interrupt everybody watching my channel and I thought it's good for, I guess, digestive. No, it's not too far. It's good emergency food. Emergency rations that grandma used.
hi. How you doing?
Still breathing. Thank you for asking. Oh,
Are you here to beg for
that's
me?
not it.
It looks like maybe like, are you allergic to laundry soap or something? Oh, yeah, I get kind of raspy. Yeah. It's not bad though. I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah. Put some lotion on for rash. Yeah, I know. Says you get that to you. Sure, thank you.
That's no good. So, oh, look on that. You are going to have to do something. First and foremost situation. They blew it off. They blew it off and made it my responsibility to prevent myself from being victimized. I have no options of where to go, and I'm victimized everywhere. People know they can just call me mentally ill and get away with it. And people just assume schizophrenic. The difference is in whether or not you look at evidence. Whether or not you actually find out how complicated it is. There's a big difference between nice and good, if you ever know.
You like the old person's pose? What's the old lady just like the way up high pose? Like, she's like, at least, yeah, show the chest. Show something about me. I'm just gonna stick to my cat. Oh, you don't even like the cat. I don't. I put in my thing that I'm more of a cat person. You don't even like your cat. Because the cat was raised from. Yeah. My mom left it alone as a kid. I was like, I'll go to the one over there. Yeah, I'll go to the far one. Okay. I don't even know what this is. Have you done this? Yes. And was like, I don't know what to do. And I just stand up there like this. Side twirling. Let me do that.
No, you just slide them in the top. There's a great many people on my channel that were reported dead. Well, they admitted that it made them feel safer that I record. When there's a situation, I pull out my camera and they know that it's being recorded. They have access to that if it's needed. That does help people. If they can tell me the date that it happened, I can type in the numbers for the date and it'll bring me to something approximate. They'll usually give me a selection of 3 or 4 files right in my general time frame.
That's actually really easy.
And then anywhere from 3 to 50 pieces of evidence in each one. All depends on the
Can I show
day.
them how much money I wasted on video games as a picture?
A lot of people get into social work and they think they're going to do some good from the inside. But after 20 years, you get burnt out because you're never allowed. You have to be afraid that if you do the right thing, you're going to lose your job. If you do what's legally required of you as a mandated reporter, you'll lose your job. Don't lose your job. Oh, good. That's a nice thing to have pop up on my screen. A mother and her child were rescued. Very cool. I'll probably get on a little later on and post about missing people. I gotta see what time it is real quick. 1:33. It's looking like I'm pretty well screwed as far as Jared goes. That's gonna give me a lot of anxiety. Hopefully his number back there and my man first. So I gotta decide what I'm gonna do now. I'm supposed to message him obviously. I should have his number in my phone, so I don't know. My vehicle and start digging through the paperwork I've got. You know, if people help me to turn this stuff around, I wouldn't have to make it public. I wouldn't have to post it public. You shouldn't have had to show how your ignorance, stupidity, assumption resulted in most people. And it took a lot of people not caring.
Taking pictures was never an issue now, but now it is.
Every time I take a selfie, they put me on a 30-day ban. Bad joke.
Because you printed out one that I didn't want, and then you found it. It was in my pocket. I was thinking it was mine.
Local legend Sasquatch to ask for your support. This month, Chilling Hard Cider will donate 5% of proceeds for select Chilling and Excelsior products throughout the month of April. So go to 6
They just gave me a number on my Snapchat. That's not
organizations that are fighting to protect wild spaces across the West.
That's gonna suck. It's awkward. Yeah, that's too awkward. The thing is that the witnesses just sit around and wait for the cops to get a hold of them. And the cops, pretend like their job is to sit around and wait for the witnesses to call them. But even if they do, the cops say, oh, well, we can't take the report. And you really have to have the person who it happens to. Really? Because that's not what happened to me. To my knowledge, Donald Trump never attempted to take me to court for threatening his life. And the Secret Service didn't care. There's a lot of people who did real shady things, and then they got busted and found out when they just slander my name. Cool. Well, these folks here at the services here, there's a reason that I speak out about having to go to local services to try to turn in crimes against you. The hospital has every incentive to not assist you. They have more to fear from not doing their job as mandated reporters than they do if they actually do their job as mandated reporters, right? No, that's not the way it is. Mandated reporters are afraid to turn in what they're supposed to because they're afraid they'll lose their jobs. And there's the fact that they don't find out what's going on. My friends and family, the ones that were mandated reporters, did nothing at the time I initially went to them about the abuse against myself or others. Of course, then there's the harassing messages I keep getting. Those are fun. Alright, I'm gonna make my car and put this in there. Make one more pass for Jared, and then if y'all don't understand how screwed up this stuff is. The cops already betrayed my trust. They betrayed the victim's trust here. Alright, you aren't looking at that. They did that when I first got here, and you guys continually telling me to go trust them and go to them alone. I was instructed not to go to them alone by lawyers. And then I'm told by people, oh, I'm not a lawyer, and I say, well, that's why I called lawyers. This is what I need. Oh, that won't work. Okay, well, that's why it doesn't work. What the lawyers say, you have to do this, this will work. And so I run around in circles. Now this needs to be done from the very start. When somebody gets a hold of you and tells you that these crimes have been committed, as a mandated reporter, you're supposed to turn it in immediately. None of these guys do. None of them investigate it. They make me, a disabled and at-risk adult who is in public, do things that a person should not be forced to do in public. And then there's all the things that the Bollingers and the police did. Illegal things. In order to try to pass me off as anything that would make what they did okay. And then all these people who claimed that they were going to help me, people like Ray, how many did? How many of these services passed me on to another service? How many times now have I been passed on to TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center? And how many times have they blown me off because I have to go in alone as a disabled and at-risk adult? No matter what, they'll come up with any excuse, won't they? They'll talk right over the top of me, won't they? They will insinuate things that are untrue, won't they? Danell Boggs certainly did that a lot. She tried to infer or even outright state things that were untrue. But me being in her office, I understand that it is a subservient environment, and if I don't let her sell her narrative, as a therapist, she didn't exactly listen well. But there's also the communication issues that I have, because I am scared. Now that's a more soothing environment. I was able to actually hear myself think, but then there's the redirection of her questions. no matter what, people want to redirect it from their job as a mandated reporter. I can't turn these things in alone. I will be abused for doing so if I go in person. If I try to do it over the phone, I will be treated like I am some sort of piece of shit for calling. Or I'll be referred back to TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center. I'm trying to turn in TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center. And of course I told Danell that today, and in one ear and out the other. But that is very much to be expected on the first visit, especially if you don't have a friend or family member involved. God, I'm in so much pain, and I really need to get some sleep. I woke up at like 7:09 this morning, something like that. Oh my God, I'm gonna be late. But no, my appointment wasn't until 8:30. Breathing exercises, right? One of my favorites is to take a deep breath and then you start to speak and you just keep on speaking until you're out of breath and can't speak anymore. And all you gotta do is keep on making sure that you're exhaling as you go along, and eventually it'll create a situation where you stutter less. And you can do this easier if you put a belt. If you put a belt around your chest. This is a way that people teach themselves not to stutter. You put a belt around your chest and then you count. And you count as fast as you can, I guess, if you want to. But you try to beat your count every time. And what you're doing is you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, the number thing gets old. The Scudder family didn't try to understand what a serious situation it was. These folks here don't try to understand what a serious situation it is. And with them taking as much time as they have, it shows that they didn't take it as seriously as it needed to be. I got Jared Scudder's address written down somewhere. The stuff that I needed to get done, I needed to explain to that lady. She kept on redirecting and telling me reasons why she can't. I don't believe any of those reasons, and I will look up most of them. But I think the fact is she just doesn't want to lose her job. She doesn't want to contend with standing up to the local law enforcement. Now, if she does look up my name, she will be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised. Likely unpleasantly. One of the things that's on her resume for community health is that she's worked in the social services field, and you get to hear with her, just like Estrada, she's a Debbie Downer about how the system doesn't work. She quit her job. Well, you know who else quit their job because the system doesn't work? See, Danell Boggs quit her job at TCCHC, which is where she's trying to send me after I've already told her that one of their peoples took part in an assault at the hospital that I'm trying to turn in. That's one of the reasons I was going to these people. They're supposed to be mandated reporters, right? She's a doctor. But how can this doctor make the right decisions without the right evidence? with the situation if she doesn't look at the evidence or let me finish. I got to be able to explain to her that I am in a lot of risk and why, and that I have been abused repeatedly and why, and how abuse against me that has gone, well, basically unreported. I have to be afraid to go in and actually do such a thing in person. I have to try to do it over the internet, which I also have to show that I made that effort, so they don't get to pretend that I didn't make that effort. And they've done that anyway. Police pretending in court that things happened that absolutely didn't, intentionally withholding evidence, intentionally preventing me from going to court, both civil and criminal courts, using the criminal court system to prevent me from going to my civil courts, using the civil court system to prevent me from going to my criminal courts, and preventing me from turning in the evidence against Scott DaCosta and his deputies, and of course Leslie Snell, in connection with attempting to give out my phone number. I've got people getting a hold of me and harassing me again from restricted calls, restricted calls, restricted calls. I don't trust any of them restricted numbers because so many of them, like, what was it, yesterday and the day before, when I did answer them and record them, what were those people doing and saying? One of them sounded like a professional type lady, almost. And then there was a bunch of other ones that sounded like somebody in a falsetto voice. Why do boys get loud when they're experiencing trauma? Because when we talk nicely, we're talked over. We're told we're allowed to have feelings. You literally interrupt us and what we're trying to tell you, to tell us that you understand, and that's something you're not supposed to do. With Danell Boggs being a doctor who worked in the social services field for more than 20 years, is it really social services or is it TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center? The stuff that I'm trying to turn in needs to go to the right people, but it has a whole course of action. Once you have the term mentally ill that gets dropped into it, you've got 10 million roadblocks and 10 million courses of action and wild goose chases you're going to be sent on. I am again being sent back to TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center. I'm trying to turn in TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center to Danell Boggs, who used to work at TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center and recently quit. Now she works with Tillamook County Community Health Centers. So I've got to go to her to try to turn in her former co-workers. The other lady used to work at Tides of Change, and I got to turn in some of her former co-workers, although I did get the names wrong. That's this lady here. Esther Brandeen, MS, Professor Counselor Associate, Professional Counselor Associate. There were a lot of crimes that were committed against me, and Marcia Estrada admitted that she knew that there were crimes. A police officer cannot diagnose schizophrenia. A police officer cannot diagnose bipolar disorder. And no hospital or doctor anywhere in the country is capable of making a diagnosis of schizophrenia in under 20 hours when the person who is a patient is brought in. They're supposed to be, of course, in my case, I was being taken somewhere where I could make a a safe place where I could make a report and show the evidence. The same issue that I'm having now, needing that safe place to sit down with the evidence. And in the body camera evidence with all of these officers, it shows that I did in fact try to show them what was going on and tell them what was going on, and they lied to me and manipulated the situation to prevent me from turning that in the same way as, well, Miss Danell Boggs did today, the same way that that officer did the other day. You just talk over me. You're not interested. The lady from TILLAMOOK Family Counseling Center that was at the hospital, all she was interested in is something that she could use to put me on suicide watch. That is all she wanted to know. That was all she was interested in. Trick questions. So you go in there because, well, people are bullying you to the point that you want your life to end, and you're in a lot of physical pain from having to run around in circles that the doctors told you not to run around in to begin with. But to get help, you're forced to run to all these different services and waste your money and time on these services that don't help you how you're told that you have to in order to turn in the crimes against you. They're making it impossible. Now you guys get to hear me trying to explain it, and you get lost immediately, many of you. Well, of course you do. You just gotta love yourself does not fucking stop shit like this from happening. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush doesn't do shit to stop this from happening. Telling me you care, but you literally don't have any time to listen to me. You've got plenty of time to tell me about your personal problems over and over and over again, and to repeat the mantra of, I don't know anything, I don't know anything, I don't know anything. I'm like, motherfucker, I already got the screenshots. Don't be stupid. I'm going to post them up in public regardless. I have to. And that's what sucks, is that I wouldn't have to if one of my friends or family members had actually helped me to turn in these crimes when I went to them. Instead, I get treated like I'm some dangerous criminal who is flipping out over absolutely nothing. The evidence, much of it is still there of the crimes committed against me. That evidence also shows that these people have repeatedly committed crimes. Now, when it comes to doctors or social workers, caseworkers, anybody of that status, or police officers, taking part in any such a thing is felonious. Here's what all of them are not paying attention to, according to the law. Civil crimes committed against me, because I cannot defend myself against them, are advanced to criminal matters. It falls under the taking advantage of an at-risk adult. It falls under the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA. Now, based on how Danell Boggs interacted with me today, what's the likelihood that she is going to actually assist me in any way? Not very, but we can hope. The fact that she's going to be gone for about 3 weeks, she's having a grandchild, is significant. But I hope it goes well for her. Story of my life. I always get the people that are on vacation. Yeah, that's all right. For example, when I was in Longmont, and Amanda Jonas and two of her co-workers told me that they were going to take me to a safe place where I could make a police report and turn in the evidence that I had. What did they do instead? They also told me that they would not have my vehicle towed. They would talk to the people at Safeway and make sure it was safe. I got out 20 hours later. All of my stuff was stolen. My vehicle had been towed. I didn't have the money to get it out of impound. the cops had lied to the hospital and told them that I was schizophrenic. You cannot make a schizophrenia diagnosis in a day, dummy. No hospital in America can do this. No doctor in America can do this. But when you try to turn in a cop, they automatically try. When I spoke up about the fact that they were supposed to take my report, once we got to the hospital, they were going to take my report. And I tried explaining that to my public pretenders. They said, oh, well, it's a different jurisdiction, so we can't. We can't requisition the body camera evidence. Oh, and by the way, the evidence that was stolen from you, that you told them was evidence, we're not going to bother to try to get it or do any investigating, and literally, we're just going to railroad you. This is what they're doing. They know that I'm disabled. They know I can't do these things for myself. They're going out of their way to make any excuse not to. But at least Danell was nice about it. There's only one part in there that, as far as her conduct goes, was definitely not appropriate. Telling me to go to police officers that have repeatedly broken the law to prevent me from turning in my predators. To intentionally make a situation and create a situation whereby I had to be afraid to go to the cops because they've already established themselves to be liars. They've already shown that they're willing to break the law and intimidate witnesses. And Danell Boggs, her being a doctor, does make it so that she is in fact a mandated reporter, and the things that I told her today are things that she is required by law to turn in immediately. I wonder if by law she turned any of it in immediately. I wonder if they called a social worker to come there like they're supposed to by law. See, these social workers are supposed to work together with you and the police. Not the police drop you off with TCCHC or tell you to go there yourself, making it hell, making it expensive, and making you go back repeatedly. Back and forth, just like Nebraska State Patrol's job is to investigate Scott DaCosta and his employees. But they kept sending me to Scott DaCosta or the wrong troop. Or when I'd get the right troop, they'd tell me it was the wrong troop and send me somewhere else. I have that many recordings. And with it going on for this long and I have to go back through it, they're expecting me to do this while I don't have the resources, and they are preying on me and preying on you, the American taxpayers, because you're paying for this shenanigans. God bless America, right?